13 Golden Era legends lit up the silver screen with cigarettes in hand, but their final act was scripted by the very smoke they sold as glamour. Behind the applause and red carpets lies a darker truth. The glow of fame came with a cost no one could escape. Stay with us, because the 13 names you are about to hear will shock you, and one might be the very star you never expected to fall this way. Number 1. Paul Newman. He died in September of 2008 at his home in Westport, Connecticut, after a private struggle with lung cancer. The news sent shockwaves across the world, as audiences who had adored his magnetic presence on screen now faced the silence left behind. For years, he had quietly endured the illness, rarely speaking of it, yet the disease slowly diminished the strength that had carried him through decades of stardom. His passing closed the curtain on a career that spanned more than half a century and reshaped what it meant to be a leading man in Hollywood. Born in January of 1925 in Shaker Heights, Ohio, Newman showed a gift for performance from a young age. After serving in the Navy during World War II, he pursued acting with determination, enrolling at the Yale School of Drama before joining the Actors Studio in New York. His rise was swift. By the mid-1950s, his performances in films like Somebody Up There Likes Me and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof marked him as one of Hollywood's brightest talents. He became known not only for his striking looks, but for the depth and humanity he brought to his characters. His career produced iconic moments that audiences still treasure: the rebel charm of Cool Hand Luke, the tragic gambler in The Hustler, and the unforgettable camaraderie of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He was not just a performer, but a cultural touchstone, a star who carried both rugged masculinity and emotional vulnerability in equal measure. Off-screen, Newman channeled his energy into philanthropy, founding Newman's Own, a food company whose profits supported countless charitable causes. His humanitarian work earned him as much admiration as his artistry. His personal life also stood apart in Hollywood lore. His marriage to actress Joanne Woodward endured 50 years, a partnership built on loyalty and love that withstood the shifting tides of fame. Together, they raised a family and shared passions beyond the spotlight, including a deep interest in racing, where Newman himself became a respected driver. When he succumbed to lung cancer in the autumn of 2008, tributes poured in from across the globe. Fellow actors, directors, and fans remembered him not only for his striking blue eyes and unforgettable roles, but for his integrity, generosity, and humility. Paul Newman's final chapter was written in quiet dignity, yet his legacy remains as luminous as the characters he brought to life, reminding the world that greatness is measured not only in talent but in the lives one touches. Number 2. Buster Keaton. He died in February of 1966 in Woodland Hills, California, after a battle with lung cancer that progressed rapidly in his final months. The silent film genius who once outran trains and toppled entire houses on screen was left powerless against the disease that stripped away his vitality. His passing marked the end of an era in cinema, a farewell to one of Hollywood's most innovative pioneers whose stone face had captivated audiences around the globe. Born in October of 1895 in Pequea, Kansas, Keaton was introduced to the stage almost from birth. His parents were vaudeville performers, and by the age of 5, he was already part of their act, thrown around the stage in carefully choreographed stunts that earned him the nickname the Great Stone Face. That unchanging expression became his signature, a mask that contrasted with the chaos and danger unfolding around him. His early exposure to physical comedy and acrobatics shaped the fearless performer who would later revolutionize film. By the 1920s, Keaton had become one of the greatest figures in silent cinema. With classics such as The General, Sherlock Jr., and Steamboat Bill Jr., he crafted elaborate stunts that pushed the boundaries of what could be achieved on screen. Audiences watched in awe as buildings collapsed inches from his body, or as he leapt across moving trains without hesitation. Behind the camera, he was just as daring, directing and choreographing sequences that influenced generations of filmmakers. His work combined technical mastery with a unique brand of physical humor, creating a legacy that continues to inspire. Yet fame was fleeting. With the arrival of sound, Keaton's career declined, and he struggled both professionally and personally. Alcoholism and financial hardship shadowed his life through the 30s and 40s, but resilience defined him. He found steady work in smaller films, television, and even commercials, always returning to the art of comedy with dedication. In later years, renewed appreciation for his silent films restored his place among the legends of Hollywood. Critics and audiences alike recognized him as not just a comedian, but a visionary who transformed cinema itself. When lung cancer took his life in 1966, tributes poured in from around the world. Fellow actors, directors, and historians hailed him as a genius of timing, courage, and invention. His stoic face and daring stunts remain immortal, preserved in celluloid as a reminder of a man who turned danger into art. Buster Keaton's silence was profound, but his legacy speaks louder than words. Number 3. Robert Mitchum. He died in July of 1997 at his home in Santa Barbara, California, after years of struggling with lung cancer and emphysema. The rugged star whose deep voice and sleepy eyes defined a generation of film noir could no longer fight against the disease that slowly wore him down. His death closed the story of one of Hollywood's most enduring tough guys, a man who carried both menace and charm with effortless ease. Born in August of 1917 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Mitchum had a rough upbringing that shaped his rebellious spirit. Before becoming an actor, he worked a string of jobs, from ditch digger to professional boxer, and even spent time on the wrong side of the law. That sense of danger followed him into his film career, where it became his trademark. By the mid-1940s, he had risen to prominence in Out of the Past, delivering a performance that established him as a quintessential noir antihero. His natural toughness made him unforgettable. In the 1950s and 60s, he broadened his range with roles that proved his versatility. In The Night of the Hunter, he played one of the most chilling villains ever captured on film, a preacher whose calm voice hid murderous intent. In Cape Fear, he once again terrified audiences as a relentless stalker, showing that menace could be quiet, controlled, and even more terrifying than rage. Yet Mitchum could also play the reluctant hero, as seen in westerns and war films where his weary presence carried a quiet dignity. Away from the screen, Mitchum was infamous for his clashes with authority, his marijuana arrest in 1948, and his refusal to conform to Hollywood standards. He embodied the outsider, a man who lived by his own rules, even as he became one of the most bankable stars of his time. Despite his tough exterior, those who knew him spoke of his intelligence, wit, and surprising warmth. His career stretched across 5 decades, a testament to his adaptability and charisma. When lung cancer claimed him, fans mourned the loss of a star who seemed larger than life, a man whose characters always carried a hint of danger, but also humanity. His films remain classics, his presence unforgettable, and his influence undeniable. Which of Robert Mitchum's roles left the deepest impression on you? Share your memory in the comments below. Number 4. Yul Brynner. He died in October of 1985 in New York City after a long and public battle with lung cancer. The bald head, piercing eyes, and commanding presence that made him unforgettable on stage and screen could not shield him from the illness that had taken root years earlier. His death was mourned worldwide, for he had been not only a Hollywood star but also a cultural icon whose image was instantly recognizable across generations. Born in July of 1920 in Vladivostok, Russia, Brynner's path to Hollywood was far from ordinary. He spent part of his youth in China and France before arriving in the United States, where he first pursued a career as a musician and circus performer. His exotic background, combined with a striking look and natural charisma, made him stand out at a time when Hollywood still prized convention. He soon transitioned to acting, training in drama, and making his way to Broadway, where his fate would change forever. In 1951, he originated the role of the King of Siam in the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical The King and I. His magnetic performance, combining authority with vulnerability, became a sensation and earned him a Tony Award. When the play was adapted to film in 1956, Brynner's portrayal won him the Academy Award for Best Actor. The image of him seated cross-legged, his shaved head gleaming under the lights, became iconic. For decades, he returned to the role in thousands of performances, ensuring that the King of Siam remained forever linked to his name. Brynner's film career extended well beyond that single triumph. He starred in epics such as The Ten Commandments, where he stood alongside Charlton Heston as the proud pharaoh, and The Magnificent Seven, where his stoic leadership anchored the ensemble. He was equally effective in westerns, historical dramas, and even science fiction, most memorably as the relentless robotic gunslinger in Westworld. His versatility and unique look set him apart from his contemporaries. In the early 1980s, Brenner was diagnosed with lung cancer, a direct consequence of decades of heavy smoking. Even as he fought the disease, he used his fame to deliver a message to the public. Before his death, he recorded a haunting anti-smoking appeal that was broadcast after he passed away, a final gift from a man who wanted others to avoid his fate. His legacy remains that of a performer who commanded every stage and screen he touched, a figure of authority, elegance, and unforgettable presence. Number 5. Betty Grable. She died in July of 1973 in Santa Monica, California, after a short battle with lung cancer that shocked both her fans and her peers. Once hailed as the #1 pin-up girl of World War II, her radiant smile and famous legs had made her an icon for millions of soldiers overseas. Her sudden decline at only 56 years old was a stark reminder of how even the brightest lights of Hollywood could be dimmed too soon. Born in December of 1916 in St. Louis, Missouri, Grable began performing at a young age. By her teenage years, she was already appearing in Hollywood musicals, her talent for dance and her natural charisma catching the attention of producers. Through the 1930s and 40s, she climbed steadily to the top, becoming one of the most popular actresses at 20th Century Fox. With her sunny persona and undeniable talent, she became the very definition of the all-American sweetheart. During World War II, her popularity skyrocketed when a publicity photo of her in a bathing suit was distributed to American soldiers. That single image, pinned on barracks walls and tucked into wallets, became the most famous pin-up of the era. To the men overseas, Betty Grable was more than just a star. She was a symbol of home, hope, and what they were fighting to return to. Her image carried enormous power, and her films offered lighthearted escape during a time of global darkness. Her career extended far beyond pin-up fame. Grable starred in hit musicals such as Down Argentine Way, Moon Over Miami, and Mother Wore Tights, each film showcasing her effervescent charm and dazzling dance routines. At her peak, she was the highest-paid woman in Hollywood, with a box office draw that rivaled any of her contemporaries. She was admired not only for her looks, but for her professionalism, her work ethic, and her ability to bring joy to audiences year after year. By the late 1950s, changing tastes in film and the decline of big studio musicals began to shift her career. She transitioned to stage work and television, still captivating audiences with her presence. Yet behind the glamour, her long history of smoking took its toll. Lung cancer overtook her in just a matter of months, cutting short a life and career that had brought joy to millions. Betty Grable remains immortal in photographs and film, forever smiling, forever dancing, and forever remembered as the woman whose image lifted spirits in the darkest of times. Number 6. Gene Simmons. She died in January of 2010 at her home in Santa Monica, California, after a long struggle with lung cancer. Her passing at the age of 80 left a void in the world of classic cinema, where she had once reigned as one of the most graceful and gifted actresses of her generation. Audiences who had grown up watching her luminous performances now mourned the loss of a star who embodied both innocence and strength. Born in January of 1929 in London, England, Simmons began her career as a teenager in British films during World War II. Her delicate beauty and natural talent quickly attracted attention, leading to early roles in projects such as Great Expectations, where she portrayed the young Estella. That performance marked her as a rising star, and she soon became one of the most sought-after actresses in Britain. By her early 20s, Hollywood came calling, and Simmons crossed the Atlantic to begin a career that would span decades. She found international fame with her role as Ophelia in Laurence Olivier's Hamlet in 1948, a performance that earned her an Academy Award nomination. In the following years, she built a reputation for versatility, moving seamlessly between historical epics, dramas, and musicals. She appeared in films such as Guys and Dolls alongside Marlon Brando and Frank Sinatra, Spartacus with Kirk Douglas, and Elmer Gantry with Burt Lancaster. Each role revealed her ability to bring depth and humanity to her characters, whether playing the ingenue, the conflicted lover, or the resilient heroine. Off-screen, Simmons was known for her quiet elegance and professionalism. She married actor Stuart Granger and later director Richard Brooks, with whom she shared significant chapters of her life. Her personal life was not without challenges, but her commitment to her craft remained constant. Even as Hollywood evolved and younger stars emerged, Simmons continued to find meaningful roles in both film and television. In later years, she appeared in projects such as The Thornbirds and even lent her voice to animated features, reminding audiences of her enduring presence. When lung cancer claimed her life, tributes poured in from across the entertainment world. Critics praised not only her beauty, but her intelligence and subtle artistry, qualities that made her performances timeless. Jean Simmons remains remembered as a star who brought dignity and depth to every role she played, leaving behind a legacy of films that continue to captivate new generations. Number 7. Ray Milland. He died in March of 1986 in Torrance, California, after a struggle with lung cancer that ended his long and distinguished career. At the age of 79, the Academy Award-winning actor left behind a legacy that stretched across 5 decades, filled with performances that ranged from charming leading men to deeply complex characters. His passing marked the close of a career that had once defined the golden age of Hollywood. Born in January of 1905 in Neath, Wales, Milland first pursued a military career before finding his way into acting. His tall frame, polished manners, and distinct voice made him a natural fit for the screen. After moving to Hollywood in the 1930s, he signed with Paramount Pictures, where his career began to flourish. Early roles often cast him as a debonair gentleman, and his refined presence made him a popular choice for light comedies and romances. The turning point in his career came in 1945 with The Lost Weekend, a film that dared to tackle the taboo subject of alcoholism. Milland delivered a raw and haunting performance as a writer spiraling into self-destruction, earning him the Academy Award for Best Actor. The role was a defining moment, proving he was more than just a matinee idol and solidifying his place among Hollywood's most respected talents. Throughout the 1940s and 50s, Milland appeared in a wide variety of films, from thrillers to westerns. His range allowed him to adapt to changing times, and he even moved behind the camera, directing films such as A Man Alone. He continued to find success in television during the 1960s and 70s, with appearances in series and made-for-TV movies that introduced him to younger audiences. His career was a rare example of longevity, showing both adaptability and resilience in an industry known for its fleeting loyalties. In his later years, Milland battled the effects of decades of heavy smoking, which eventually led to lung cancer. Despite his illness, he remained active, taking on roles until shortly before his death. When news of his passing spread, colleagues and fans remembered him as a consummate professional whose work elevated every project he touched. Ray Milland's performances, particularly his fearless portrayal in The Lost Weekend, continue to resonate as timeless reminders of the human struggle and the power of cinema to confront difficult truths. Number 8. Robert Taylor. He died in June of 1969 in Santa Monica, California, after a battle with lung cancer that cut short his life at the age of 57. Known for his handsome features and dignified presence, he had been one of Hollywood's most reliable leading men for more than 3 decades. His passing left fans mourning the loss of an actor whose screen image had been built on strength, romance, and quiet authority. Born in August of 1911 in Philly, Nebraska, Taylor originally pursued a career in music before turning to acting. After signing with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer in the 1930s, his rise was swift. With films such as Magnificent Obsession, Camille, and Waterloo Bridge, he became a matinee idol whose appeal stretched across continents. His on-screen partnerships with Greta Garbo, Vivien Leigh, and other great actresses of the era established him as one of the premier romantic leads of his generation. During the 1940s, he expanded beyond romantic roles and took on more diverse characters. In films like Johnny Eager and Song of Russia, he showed greater range, and his commanding presence allowed him to transition seamlessly into historical epics and westerns. By the time he starred in Quo Vadis in 1951, he had cemented his place among the great stars of Hollywood's golden era. His ability to bring both charm and gravitas to his performances made him a versatile actor whose career endured long past the studio system's decline. Off-screen, Taylor became known for his strong opinions and personal convictions. His marriage to actress Barbara Stanwyck, though ending in divorce, was one of the most high-profile unions of its time. Later, he married actress Ursula Thies, with whom he had 2 children. Away from the cameras, he enjoyed ranch life and embraced the image of the American outdoorsman, traits that further enhanced his screen persona. When lung cancer claimed his life, tributes poured in from fellow actors, fans, and film historians who recognized the impact he had made. His funeral was attended by many of Hollywood's biggest names, a reflection of the respect he commanded throughout his career. Robert Taylor's legacy continues through the films that showcased his elegance, strength, and enduring appeal. Which of Robert Taylor's films do you remember most vividly? Share your thoughts in the comments and keep his memory alive through your stories. Number 9. Patricia Neal. She died in August of 2010 in Edgartown, Massachusetts, after succumbing to lung cancer that she had battled with remarkable strength. At the age of 84, her departure marked the end of a life filled with both triumph and tragedy, a career that had earned her acclaim and respect while her personal journey revealed resilience beyond measure. Born in January of 1926 in Packard, Kentucky, and raised in Tennessee, Neal showed an early interest in performing. After studying drama at Northwestern University, she quickly found her way to Broadway, where her talent drew the attention of Hollywood. By the late 1940s, she had transitioned to film, signing with Warner Brothers and appearing alongside stars such as Ronald Reagan and Gary Cooper. Her striking presence, rich voice, and emotional depth distinguished her from her peers. Her career gained momentum in the 1950s with standout roles that showcased her versatility. She appeared in The Day the Earth Stood Still, a landmark science fiction film, and in A Face in the Crowd, where her nuanced portrayal brought critical praise. In 1963, Neal delivered the performance that defined her career in HUD, playing opposite Paul Newman as a weary housekeeper caught in moral conflict. The role earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, confirming her as one of the most respected talents of her generation. Behind her success, Neal faced extraordinary personal challenges. Her love affair with Gary Cooper scandalized Hollywood, and later, her marriage to author Roald Dahl was marked by both devotion and difficulty. Tragedy struck in the 1960s when she suffered a series of debilitating strokes while pregnant, leaving her partially paralyzed and struggling to regain her speech. Against all odds, she returned to acting, rebuilding her career with determination and inspiring audiences with her courage. Through the following decades, Neal continued to work in film and television, earning renewed acclaim for her performances and proving that her artistry was as enduring as her willpower. Her later years were shadowed by declining health, yet she remained a symbol of perseverance. When lung cancer finally took her life, tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry. Patricia Neal was remembered not only as an Oscar-winning actress, but as a woman who faced adversity with grace, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable performances and a life story that inspired generations. Number 10. Robert Preston. He died in March of 1987 in Montecito, California, after a brief but fierce battle with lung cancer. At the age of 68, the vibrant performer who had once filled theaters with his booming voice and magnetic energy was gone, leaving fans mourning the loss of one of Broadway and Hollywood's most beloved stars. Born in June of 1918 in Newton, Massachusetts, Preston grew up in California, where he first discovered his love of performance. He began his Hollywood career in the 1930s, often cast in supporting roles in war films and dramas. Though he worked steadily, true stardom eluded him until the stage provided a role that would forever define his career. That moment came in 1957, when he originated the role of Professor Harold Hill in the Broadway musical The Music Man. With boundless charisma and unmatched showmanship, he brought the fast-talking con man to life, dazzling audiences with his energy and charm. The performance earned him a Tony Award and established him as one of the great musical theater stars of the era. When the story was adapted to film in 1962, Preston reprised his role, creating one of the most iconic performances in the history of American musicals. Though forever associated with The Music Man, Preston's career was far more expansive. He appeared in a variety of stage productions and films, proving his versatility as both a dramatic and comedic actor. In later years, he gained fresh acclaim with his role in Victor Victoria in 1982, where his comedic timing and warmth earned him a Golden Globe Award. He also returned frequently to Broadway, where his commanding stage presence made him a favorite with theatergoers. Off stage and screen, Preston was known for his humility and devotion to his craft. He maintained a private personal life, married to actress Catherine Craig for more than 4 decades. Colleagues admired his professionalism, generosity, and dedication, qualities that made him a respected figure within the industry. When lung cancer claimed him in 1987, tributes poured in from both the theater and film communities. His legacy remains inseparable from Harold Hill. Yet his body of work reflects a talent far greater than any single role. Robert Preston's career stands as a testament to the power of charisma, dedication, and artistry, qualities that continue to inspire performers long after his final curtain call. Number 11. James Whitmore. He died in February of 2009 in Malibu, California, from lung cancer that advanced quickly in his final months. At the age of 87, the veteran actor whose voice and presence had carried through stage, screen, and television was silenced, leaving behind a career that spanned more than 6 decades. His passing was felt deeply by audiences who had grown up with his steady performances and by colleagues who admired his dedication to the craft. Born in October of 1921 in White Plains, New York, Whitmore served in the Marine Corps during World War II before pursuing acting. After the war, he trained at Yale and quickly gained recognition for his natural style and commanding presence. His early success came on Broadway, where he won a Tony Award for Command Decision, proving himself as a serious talent who could carry complex roles. Hollywood soon followed, and Whitmore transitioned to film with ease. In the 1950s, he earned an Academy Award nomination for his role in Battleground, a war film that captured the grit and exhaustion of soldiers in combat. That performance set the tone for a career filled with characters rooted in realism and emotional truth. He appeared in films such as Kiss Me Kate, The Asphalt Jungle, and Oklahoma, each time bringing depth and credibility to the screen. Audiences trusted him, for he carried himself with authenticity. Television expanded his reach further, and Whitmore became a familiar presence in American households. His one-man shows portraying historical figures such as Harry Truman, Will Rogers, and Theodore Roosevelt revealed his remarkable ability to inhabit a character fully, both physically and emotionally. These performances brought him renewed acclaim, earning awards and cementing his reputation as an actor of rare versatility. In his later years, he was beloved for his role as Brooks Hatlin in The Shawshank Redemption, a poignant performance that touched new generations of viewers. The character's quiet dignity and tragic fate highlighted Whitmore's enduring ability to move audiences. Even as his health declined, he continued to work, embodying the resilience that defined his career. When lung cancer ended his life, tributes emphasized his humanity as much as his talent. James Whitmore left behind a body of work that continues to inspire, a reminder of an actor who approached every role with honesty, discipline, and heart. His presence remains alive in the stories he helped tell and in the emotions he stirred with every performance. Number 12. Nancy Walker. She died in March of 1992 in Studio City, California, after succumbing to lung cancer that had progressed swiftly in her final year. At the age of 69, the actress and director who had built a career on wit, sharp timing, and memorable television roles was gone, leaving behind a legacy that combined comedy, resilience, and groundbreaking work for women in entertainment. Born in May of 1922 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Walker entered show business early, driven by both talent and ambition. Her small stature and distinctive voice set her apart, making her instantly recognizable and well-suited to both stage and screen comedy. She first gained notice on Broadway in the 1940s, where her energetic performances in musicals such as Best Foot Forward caught the attention of Hollywood producers. Soon after, she transitioned to film, appearing in a string of musicals where her humor and vitality stood out. Despite her success in film, Walker found her greatest fame on television. From the 1970s onward, she became a household name with roles in shows that defined the era. As Rhoda Morgenstern's mother on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and its spin-off Rhoda, she brought warmth and sharp comedic delivery that resonated with audiences. Her ability to balance nagging humor with genuine affection made the character unforgettable. She also starred in the sitcom McMillan and Wife, and later, The Golden Girls, where her appearances once again displayed her impeccable comic instincts. Walker was more than just a performer. She also broke barriers as a director. In an era when few women worked behind the camera, she directed episodes of popular television shows such as Alice, and even made her feature film directorial debut with Can't Stop the Music in 1980. Though the film itself received mixed reviews, her transition into directing was significant, reflecting her determination to carve a path for women in Hollywood. In her personal life, Walker was known for her professionalism, humor, and tenacity. Colleagues admired her ability to bring joy to any set she worked on. When lung cancer claimed her life, the industry mourned not just the loss of a performer but the loss of a trailblazer who had expanded opportunities for others. Nancy Walker remains remembered as a woman whose quick wit and enduring spirit made her a vital presence in American entertainment for half a century. Number 13. Gary Merrill. He died in March of 1990 in Falmouth, Maine, after lung cancer brought an end to his long and varied career. At the age of 74, the actor who had once shared the screen with Hollywood's brightest legends slipped away quietly, leaving behind memories of strong performances and a life lived with intensity. Born in August of 1915 in Hartford, Connecticut, Merrill first pursued education before discovering his calling as a performer. After studying at Bowdoin College and Trinity College, he joined the Army Air Forces during World War II, where he served as a pilot. Following the war, he moved toward acting, and his deep, resonant voice quickly opened doors in radio and on stage. His natural authority and rugged presence soon translated to film, where he found his place in Hollywood during the Golden Era. In 1950, Merrill achieved widespread recognition with his role in All About Eve, playing opposite Bette Davis in the legendary backstage drama. His portrayal of theater director Bill Sampson brought him acclaim and introduced him to Davis herself, whom he later married. Their union became one of Hollywood's most talked-about relationships of the time, filled with passion but also marked by turbulence. The marriage lasted a decade, and though it ended in divorce, it remained a defining chapter in both of their lives. Merrill's career stretched across film, television, and stage, with roles in dramas, thrillers, and even westerns. His deep voice and commanding presence made him a frequent choice for strong, masculine characters, though he often displayed a sensitivity beneath the surface. He appeared in films such as Decision Before Dawn, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and A Blueprint for Murder, each performance showcasing his ability to ground a story with gravitas. On television, he took on recurring roles in series throughout the 1960s and 70s, maintaining steady work and a respected reputation among his peers. As the years passed, Merrill remained connected to acting but also pursued other interests, including political activism. He spoke openly about social issues, often lending his voice to causes he believed in. Yet decades of smoking took their toll, leading to the lung cancer that ultimately claimed his life. When he died in 1990, his contributions were remembered with admiration. Gary Merrill's legacy endures through his performances and his indelible connection to one of Hollywood's greatest eras. 13 stars, 13 lives, extinguished by the same relentless disease, each reminding us how the glamour of Hollywood often carried a hidden cost. They shone brightly, filled screens with unforgettable moments, and left behind stories that still stir emotion decades later. Their films endure, their images linger, and their names remain etched in history. Though lung cancer claimed them, their artistry outlives the smoke. Which of these legends do you still remember most vividly? Share your thoughts below.